historic home of Puerto Ricans in mainland United States. This district is historically Puerto Rican. It's been served by Puerto Rican members of Congress for 50 years. So I'm about to continue a tradition that dates back more than half a century. My father is from Naguabo, Puerto Rico. My mother's family has been here for 3 generations. My great-grandmother was born in Puerto Rico. So I'm proud to be an Afro-Puerto Riqueño who's going to represent a historically Puerto Rican district. But it's worth noting that the district has a significant share of African Americans and Dominicans and Garifunas. And the main reason I won was my ability to build a multiracial, multi-ethnic coalition. And the new generation of leaders who are emerging, who are winning congressional offices, reflect the changing complexion of America, reflect the character of a multiracial democracy. New York City has never had an openly LGBTQ member of Congress. And it's one thing to have an LGBTQ member of Congress come from the neighborhoods like Chelsea or the Village. It's something else to have an openly LGBTQ congressperson from the South Bronx, which is the place where you would least expect it. So that represents a new kind of breakthrough for LGBTQ representation in American politics. And if elected, I would become the first openly LGBTQ Afro-Latino member of Congress in the United States. And there's a wise person who once said that if you don't have a seat at the table, then you're probably going to be on the menu. And the LGBTQ community, we're sick and tired of being on the menu. We need and want and demand a seat at the table. After more than a year and a half of campaigning, it takes a toll on you physically and emotionally. And this was the craziest possible campaign at the craziest possible moment. You know, when I chose to run for Congress, I never thought in my wildest dreams that I'd be running against the backdrop of COVID-19 and mass demonstrations, and that New York City would be the epicenter of both. But it was a fiercely contested race, 12 candidates, 5 elected officials. But in the end, I'm proud of the campaign that I ran, and the results speak for themselves. You know, Ruben Diaz Sr. is the most anti-LGBTQ, anti-choice, pro-Trump Democrat in New York City politics. And there was a real risk that a Trump Republican like Ruben Diaz Sr. could represent the most Democratic district in America, a district that voted for Barack Obama 96% in 2012. You know, Diaz Sr. had more than 80% name recognition in the congressional district, which is staggering. And to be blunt, he's been a larger-than-life political figure in Bronx politics longer than I've been born. And many people said, this race cannot be won. Ruben Diaz Sr. cannot be beaten. But what we've come to realize is that we're living in a change moment. This was a change election. And I emerged as the change candidate, and the voters overwhelmingly cast their ballot for a new generation of leadership, not only in the South Bronx, but across the country. And part of the reason I won, part of the reason I stood out among all the progressive candidates is that I had a personal narrative and a record that spoke directly to the struggles, to the lived experiences of everyday people in the South Bronx. Many Bronxites saw themselves, saw their own lived experiences, their own identities represented in my candidacy. I presumptively won on the strength of the Latino vote, in particular from Latinas. You know, I said on primary night that I would not be where I am today were it not for my mother. You know, mothers like mine struggle and sacrifice so that their children can have a better life than they did. And mothers like mine represent the heart and soul of the South Bronx. Like, I won on the strength of wise Latinas, and representing wise Latinas in the halls of Congress is going to be the greatest honor of a lifetime. You know, the South Bronx is the greatest congressional district in America. Before COVID-19, the South Bronx had a reputation as the poorest congressional district in America. But after COVID-19, the South Bronx has been shown to be the home of the essential workforce that sustains our city, that sustains our country. And so the thought of representing the essential workers, the powerful mothers, the wise Latinas of the South Bronx is the realization of a dream. For me, winning an election is the easy part. Governing is the hard part, and governing is what ultimately matters. And I'm going to be judged by the results that I deliver for the South Bronx. The essential workers, the wise Latinas, the powerful mothers of the South Bronx deserve nothing less than the highest standard of political leadership. And I hope to rise up to that challenge.